Welcome everybody to Pipebomb Radio NYC. Sponsored by Raz Energy, Steiner Sports, and Super Draft Pro. Here is your host, Ricky, a.k.a. The Prez, Litwinkowicz. And this is Pipebomb Radio NYC live concert series. We had Goo Goo Dolls with Iris live from Buffalo. And then we had Panama Van Halen. And we are now joined by Playhouse. How's it going, guys?
Hey, man. Thanks for having me.
How's it going, man?
Hey, everyone. Hi.
I'd like to introduce you guys to my long-term friend Mark and my homeboy all the way from Sweden, Mr. Lars. It's an honor to have you guys on.
Thanks for having us.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, bud.
So I have to kind of pry a little bit. All right, you guys have been around since 1987, which is that is in itself an extreme accomplishment. When you've been around since 87, we're now in 22, so it's a really long time coming. What was it like in the beginning for you guys?
I'll let Eric answer that one.
Well, in the beginning, I was in a band called Heads Incorporated, and we played in a Muncho West Battle of the Bands, where we went up against a whole bunch of bands, including Pete and Danny in a band called Future at the time. And then once that was over, I don't know, maybe 8 months later, I got a call and I was recruited to this band. And the history was written, I guess. In the beginning, can I say we busted our asses off? Handing out flyers, jamming every day. I spent more time with these guys than my own family. So it's, I don't know. Take it away, Pete.
Well, that's pretty much the origin story. And then, like Eric said, if you guys know anything about the 80s, have you seen the movie Rockstar?
Yes.
Well, for us, that was literally our lives. When we watched that movie, we're like, what's the big deal? That's what we lived every day during the 80s, right? So to us, it was a wild time, man. Our first run was about 8 years. We toured a lot, played a lot of shows, opened for a lot of big bands. At one point, we were selling out 1,000-seaters ourselves, We had built up to that level. And then, like all of us, we saw the cracks starting to happen. And like in many of the band in 94, we sat down and we're like, let's take a cigarette break. And that break lasted, about 17 years. We weren't broken up, but we weren't active either. We were talking and stuff. But in 2013-14, we got the ball rolling again. And we brought on Mr. Steve Creep. And who's been in the picture the whole time, by the way. He was in the picture from 92, I think. So, and here we are, man. Pretty much the whole original lineup.
Well, it's actually kind of ironic because I believe Steve has got the Van Halen background going on back there.
Yeah.
and we lead you guys in with Panama. There's some irony right there.
Yeah. Fantastic.
All right, I'm going to throw some questioning over to Lars because I know Lars has got a lot of questions.
So, like when you're growing up, what artists and bands were you all three listening to most?
Oh, I'm a big fan of Black Sabbath. I think that's the band that changed my life. First time I heard Paranoid, well, that was it. I didn't even know anything about the band, so I bought every record except for the album Paranoid. And so I really got to know them, and then it moved on to all kinds of other things. I was playing a lot of acoustic guitar back in the day, and some friends introduced me to a song called Eruption. And man, that's I dropped my acoustic pretty quickly and went right to the electric and had to learn how to play that. Got me into bands, and which led me to Playhouse. And you know, I've listened to a lot of other bands too, like you know, Kiss was a big influence in me back in the day, just being such a flashy band, all the explosions and fire and costumes, and I was pretty impressed at impressionable kid. You know, it was 1978, I think I saw. That was my first concert seeing them.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you know, but I have all kinds of influence. I love everything from Alice in Chains to Dawkins to Bon Jovi to, I mean, just about everything, really, you know.
All right, we're going to go to the man in the middle now. What do you got for your musical influences?
I mean, without saying, I think Van Halen, obviously. But yeah, like Eric, one of the first things that caught my eye was Kiss. You know, I was 4 years old. You saw that made-for-TV movie, was it Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park?
Yeah, man.
It's like your rock stars are also superheroes. I mean, what more do you want, right? The biggest things in the 70s were Kiss and Star Wars, right?
Absolutely.
Oh,
yeah.
So that's pretty much what still is probably my favorite thing at the end of the day. But I also really love Led Zeppelin. I mean, there's no weak link in that band, and there's no bad albums. So it's, for me, the trifecta for me is definitely Van Halen, Kiss, and Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, I would say the same for me.
But, you know, like Eric, I expanded over the years. Like I like a lot of 70s punk too. So I like the Ramones and Sex Pistols and Clash. But I also like a lot of 90s, like the Alice in Chains, Stone Temple Pilots. And even today, there's some, you got to dig a little bit more. But there's good stuff out there. You just got to find it.
What about you, Pete?
For me, Kiss was everything, man. Like, I remember getting my first Kiss record at the mall at 7 years old, and it was Kiss Alive. And when you open that cover and you see those four guys, I mean, there's no question what you want to do with your life, right? You're like, I want to be them. And you know, you start building stages in your bedroom and in your basement, and you pick up your parents' tennis rackets, and you take a marker and you put a big star in your eye, and then you're Kiss, right? So that went on for like
Halloween every day.
Yeah, exactly. And but then I saw Van Halen. I saw that album, and that really blew me away. I mean, it wasn't just Eddie's guitar playing; it was David Lee Roth's vocal melodies and the way he delivered it. And from there, you know, it opened the gateways. But I also love bands like The Who, The Stones, Zeppelin, The Beatles. You know, like all that stuff is just so magical.
Okay, so there's the unanimous Kiss thing. Does any one of you have an actual Kiss tattoo? Or Kiss related?
I don't know. I have no tattoos. I'm still kind of on the fence of whether I should get one or not.
My old bassist, he was Italian, and he had the Rock and Roll Over emblem on his shoulder. And he has strict parents. He wasn't allowed to tell him that he had tattoos. So every time he would go down to breakfast every morning with his T-shirt covering his shoulder. Right, he got them all strategically placed. But no, I got a Boba Fett tattoo, but I don't have a Kiss tattoo yet. If I met Ace Frehley, I'd probably get him to sign me somewhere, and I'll tattoo it on.
I think we go get some Kiss tattoos the next time we're on the show.
Yeah.
We'll deliver.
Yeah. Well, earlier in the show, I did share when in my band years way back when I was young, and I kind of regret not following up on doing the band scene and all, but I actually did open for Kiss at Jones Beach. And,
no way, bro.
Yeah,
nice.
And I was literally scared shitless standing next to Gene Simmons, full makeup, full outfit, and he
what year?
Shit. This was like early 2000s that I had gone, and
wow.
like you guys had taken the break. Like I had taken the break, but it was only for like 2 years. Right. Guys were getting married, they're having kids, and they're like, we can't do band time or whatever. And then there's me, the single bastard, running around being like, I just want to play gigs and do whatever. but he had said don't cut the long hair. I recently did cut the long hair only because it was annoying the shit out of me. But like he said to me, he goes, you are that like surprise out of the Cracker Jack box. Nobody's gonna know like the intelligence you have or personality you're gonna have just by looking at you with long hair. So it's kind of like the theory that's been going on since that moment. But
well, dude, you're a legend in my book now, bro. If you even hear Kiss, bro, like.
Yeah, that's amazing, man.
It was Kiss and Poison. It was like
even better, bro. Like it was like the stadium tour.
It was crazy because we only got like a month advance notice that they needed the opening act, and we were like, okay, let's go. We went, and it was an experience and a half. But I hate to say it, seeing Kiss in the stands is better than seeing Kiss backstage.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
You just get more ambiance from the actual being in the crowd.
Of course.
But Kiss is just amazing.
Yeah, well, one of the most disappointing that I've ever seen Kiss was from the second row because you're not getting the full spectrum of it. You're in the show at that point.
Yes.
I like to see them minimum 10 rows back because now you get a peripheral view of everything. It's a lot to take in. And when you're in it, you're missing things. You know?
Well, the only good thing from the second row is getting hit with all the blood from God of Thunder.
Right.
I mean, that's virtually like the best spot for it, but you don't get to see the whole ordeal.
Well, I didn't get any of that. I saw the tour with Motley Crue, so we were getting all of Nikki Sixx's spit, and I got hit with Tommy Lee's drumstick. I still have it, but nothing from Kiss. No guitar picks or anything from that show.
Well, was that your favorite live show, or was there another one in particular? Because we are doing a live concert show.
Well, I was elated because I love both those bands live. They're a lot of fun to be at. But it wasn't the best I ever saw Kiss. I'd say '96 when they reunited was my favorite.
Yeah,
that and maybe
I saw it in '97.
Pete, what was your favorite concert ever to go to?
I have 3.
Go for it.
Kiss 97. That was the 4th time I saw Kiss. First time I saw them with makeup. Listen, I'm not a fan. I don't mind saying it. Vinnie Vincent was on guitar.
Yeah.
That was for Creatures of the Night. My favorite 3 concerts literally have been Kiss, Roger Waters, and the Purple One, Prince.
Ooh, I never got to see him.
Yeah, same. I saw Roger Waters, but no Prince.
Oh, 1984 was pretty sick. But I listen, I've seen so many shows like all you guys, right? So it's hard to. But I saw Roger Waters just after he left Pink Floyd, and he had his first solo album, Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking, and Eric Clapton was on guitar.
Oh wow!
So that was a treat, So
So I'm going to throw it over to Eric now, since we are doing a live concert show on Pipebomb Radio on the 24th of June. Eric, what was your favorite concert to go to?
Oh, one of them would be definitely Black Sabbath with Nazareth as the opening act.
I was there, bro.
Yeah, that was an insane show. Nazareth showed up about an hour late. They were drunk, and then by the time Sabbath finished the show, the metros were closed, so the whole place, there was a big riot outside, and it was insane. We ended up running all the way down to Little Burgundy to try to get the metro there. It was just trying to escape that whole chaotic scene. But I think one of my, probably just about every Van Halen show, I've seen so many of them I can't count. Joe Satriani would be another amazing show. I've seen a few times. Gosh, I've seen so many concerts. I can't even think of them all. Deep Purple too. But I'd say, Black Sabbath and Van Halen, definitely my top shows that I've seen. Kiss was awesome back in the beginning, but I was a kid in those days, so I didn't really understand the whole scene at the time. I was just blown away by the whole show. So I guess that's probably one of the most memorable, since it had such an impact on me, watching all these guys with their costumes and just being introduced to that music in general. All the kids at that time were listening to disco and stuff, and I thought I was going to be a weird kid that didn't like music. I didn't like disco at all, and it just didn't relate to me. And then, when I heard Paranoid from Sabbath, well, that just changed everything for me, and it led me to all these other concerts So yeah, that would be it, I would think, you know.
Mark, you got any questions for him? If he's still alive? I know that he's doing
I'm
it for
alive.
his phone.
Sorry, I
Okay.
can't text it to my mom. I apologize, guys.
All right.
You guys mentioned that you've seen so many bands live. What's it like when you're on stage and having your fans scream for you? That must be amazing.
I don't hear anything. I wear in-ears because I play with a click track. So I have to learn to lip read Pete when he tries to tell me stuff on stage. So I don't hear anybody yelling at me. They could be booing at me for all I know. All I hear is tuk, tuk, tuk.
We play so loud. It's amazing. I can still hear it all. You know, we're like Motorhead loud, you know. I mean, our jam rooms are insanely loud. I mean, other bands practically stop playing and come down the hall to watch us because they can't hear themselves play. You know, but on stage, I think for me, it's depending on the stage, especially if it's a risen stage, feeling that, you know, Steve's, you know, bass drum, just the kick drum, just underneath my feet as I'm standing next to Pete and rocking out, man, and the rest of the guys. You know, it's an amazing experience. I'm so comfortable with these guys on stage. It's like second nature. So I think you know, even the bad gigs, I love them all. I'll do it all again if I had to. You know,
for me, you know, when you play with the same guys for so long, like Eric said, it's like you're going on stage with families, sometimes a fighting family.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah, it's a privilege, man, to be still doing this with the same guys all these years later. I don't personally take that for granted, and it's just an amazing feeling. Obviously, you know, not every gig is perfect, but we were playing a gig about a month ago, and the sound man had been in this venue for 10 years, and he came to us after the show. He's like, I've been here 10 years, and I've never heard a band louder than you guys. Like, we're loud for no reason. It's just like, let's just be fucking loud.
Yeah, Oshawa, Ontario was beyond. There was just no reason for that kind of volume.
Yeah, we're just let's be loud. You know?
Yeah.
Half the bar walked outside and watched us from the window on the street while they had cigarettes outside. You know, it was just insane. You know, we thought like, wow, maybe they don't like us or something. But no, we got off the stage and you go like, you guys are insanely loud, man. What the hell?
Just to give you an idea of how loud it gets on this stage, I played in a lot of bands, but this is the only band I've ever played in as a drummer where I unplug the monitor because I don't need it. I don't want anything in that monitor. Like, I hear the click and I already hear the amps like in front of me bleeding throughout the room and everything. It's so stupid.
Okay, so in other words, we will never book Playhouse in an acoustic bar ever.
No, God.
Because I actually played at a place. Mark was there for this one. We were in an acoustic bar called the Orange Bear.
Right.
And now, mind you, there is an apartment's distance of 10 feet in between the bar and the people that are living up on the third floor.
Right.
And at 10 o'clock at night, they came down and they were like, what the hell is going on down here? We can hear this shit up on the third floor in the back of the apartment building. So I know with being loud, I can totally understand that. It's an amazing feeling, though, because if you're loud, then you're not heard. If you're not loud, you're not heard. And being loud is definitely wanting to be heard.
I think we're all in the same age group where when we used to go to the concerts in the 80s and even in the early 90s, the volumes were just unbearingly loud. It was. Yeah. I remember seeing Whitesnake, and it was just I was deaf for 3 days. But now you go to a show, and maybe it's over the years I've lost my hearing, but I find it's way more controlled, and you can like have conversations. Even at metal shows, I went to see Cradle of Filth, and I'm talking over the music. I was like, I shouldn't be able to do this.
I was at a show once here in Brooklyn, half empty stadium, Def Leppard.
No way.
And my friend lives across the street, and we were so loud. He was on like the 10th floor, and he heard us. How loud the show was. It was amazing. We felt everything. It was a great show.
Right.
Yeah, I miss that.
Really was.
The last loud band I saw was Motorhead, and since then I haven't seen anything that's really. Maybe they were the final nail in the coffin for my ears, but.
Oh, I think Playhouse would be, man. I mean, my God, we're just so stupid, loud, crazy. I mean, our sound man at the last show, he kind of opened my ears, so to speak, when the volume I noticed was actually lower on stage than it is at our jam room.
Right.
So, I had a talk with the band after saying maybe we should, start jamming at this level. And we've been trying, but, a few more jams since then, we're back to being Motorhead loud again. We just can't escape it, and we just blast the hell out of everything.
Well, we can't hear anymore, so we got to feel it. The only way to do that is to turn it up.
So before we get into the track, I do have like a few little questions here because I again had the experience that you did, probably for not as long of a period. When you guys took the break, how was it when you actually guys came back? Like, obviously you had the experience for playing, and jamming out earlier. But what did you take from the earlier spot before the break to now that makes the sound a lot more unique?
Well, for me, in that break, I got signed to quite a big record deal overseas and was writing more 90s sounding music. So when we got back, when we started writing songs in 2014, me personally, I brought a more maturity in a way that I'd learned a lot more about songwriting. And obviously we're older guys, right? So, I went to bed too late, got up too soon, didn't really apply anymore, right?
Oh no.
Now I go to bed at fucking 8:30, right? So it's not very rock and roll, but we're older men. So, we have different subjects we talk about, and everyone's just better players, right? So yeah.
I think I went in the opposite direction. The band I was last in before rejoining Playhouse again, or us hooking back up again, I think that band was more about drinking on stage and just drinking all the time. It was insane. That band was out of control. It was a band called Easy Johnny, and we were just out of control completely. And so that was chaos compared to Playhouse being a much more organized band and has direction. Easy Johnny was just straight up alcohol and trying not to fall down.
And that's saying something because this band is highly dysfunctional.
So you can imagine how easy Johnny was, right?
I was going to say, I think that one thing that you perfected over the long hiatus was perfecting the art of being dysfunctional. I grew up in a very abusive household, so this is like right at home for me.
Getting back together after all these years, I think when I first laid eyes on everybody at the jam room, I guess I was kind of stunned as they were too, because we had aged all considerably since the last time we had seen each other in person. So when I first walked up and see Pete standing there, for just a moment, I didn't recognize him. I'm like, who the hell's this guy? And I'm like, wait a minute, that's Pete. Like, holy shit, and I'm sure, look at me. I mean, I look like the guy in the bucket of chicken now. So,
I think it took them about 2 weeks to realize I wasn't Sam.
Yeah. Sam, yeah.
I think I was going through puberty when you guys were first around.
Yeah. That's true. You were, that was a long time ago, man.
I was still in high school in '87.
Oh, I'm old, man. Now
we were still in high school when we started the band. So
well, I was only in junior high when you guys started.
49, I'm the baby of the band.
I was only in junior high when you guys started, so I think we've probably all grown up that way.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have Champagne loaded. Give us a little bit of a outlook about the track, what it went into.
Well, I think I'll tell you the story. So the catalyst, or the inception, or the sperm of the song, happened one night. Me and our bass player Danny, we had a couple of glasses of red wine, and he picked up the guitar, started playing this chord progression, I'm just literally, I'm literally singing a Monty Python joke kind of thing. You know, woman, you stand out, champagne, and like I'm very I tape everything we work on. Anything that ever comes up, I pull up my phone and I record it, and then I asked Danny to replay it and send me the chord progression. And I threw a couple of lyrics on it and a melody, and we left it for like over a year. And then we're going to do this record. Our producer, Kevin Jardine, he said, I want to hear everything you guys worked on, everything you guys have come up with. And we submitted 36 song ideas, and this was number 1, actually, or number 2. And in my mind, there's no way in hell this song is going to be in the record. Not because it's not going to be in the record, just because there's no way I was going to let it on the record. Because it was a joke. And literally when Kevin heard it, he's like, this has to be on the record. I'm like, no. And then Eric heard the song. Now, Eric's like...
I fell in love with it.
Yeah, he fell in love. He's like, dude, this has to be on the record. Steve as well. Steve was like, yeah, man, this is pretty quirky, you know? And for 11 months, because it took us a long time to do this record because of COVID, I literally fought everyone on it. I'm like, this is not going to be on the record. We tracked the drums, and I'm still like, this is not going to be on the record.
That was the last song I tracked.
Yeah, because I was so resistant to it, because I was like, it's a joke. Why is it on the record? It was meant as a joke. And here we are. It got released this morning, and it ain't no joke no more. It's definitely the standalone song on the record. I
think that's why I like it so much.
Everything else is a lot darker, and this one is quirky.
So almost this is kind of like that little bit of fresh air, and then you're like, okay, now we're gonna suffocate you the rest of the record. Is that what
it's like Ice Cream Man? You know, like when Ice Cream Man comes on a Back Down record, you're like, what the fuck? Same kind of vibe, you know.
Well, we're gonna play Champagne for everybody. This is by Playhouse. We hope you guys are enjoying the interview, and when we come back, we're gonna go through the 5 questions of death that I normally just kill every band with when we do the interview. Don't be worried about it. Trust me. These are very creative questions. This is Pipebomb Radio NYC.
And it goes a little something like this. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I may not be a poet, but I wrote the symphony.
my life's a romance novel. I used to be a lyrical master, a beat killer. Now I wanna be the maestro of love like Steve Miller. It used to be strictly rhymes and spritz and limes. Summers like Brian Adams, lots of 69s. When I miss the times of pretty chicks and dimes, all I gotta do is take a look right in your eyes. Yeah, I'm still in amazement over the faces and all the girls I've ever loved before, like a glaciers. Look forward to the days when we're old and we're gray and we're staying in the sun like the California raisins. We're like Juliet and Romeo, Kate and Leo, Trinity and Neo. Like Enrique, I can be your hero, baby.
Woman, you stand out like a glass of champagne on a summer's day. Woman, you stand out like the 4th of July on a winter's day. Like a glass of champagne on a summer's day. Like a glass of champagne on a winter's day.
Hey, this is Lynn from Sound Machine FM, and you're listening to Pipebomb Radio NYC.
Champagne by Playhouse, and we're joined today. We got the guys on the show, Eric, Steve, and Peter. Dude, that track is amazing. Why would you not want to have that on the album? Seriously.
Just weird. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone seems to really like it. I don't know, man. Like, is what it is. I mean, I kind of like it now.
Kind of.
It's growing on me.
I mean, to me, it definitely catches a lot of people off guard. I'm pretty sure. But I'm going to tell
Like
you,
me.
I like the guitar riffs first off. I love the guitar riffs. I love the drum tracks, and there's a lot of seamless transition in the song, which is really great. I mean, the sound is amazing. I mean, again, it really when I first heard it, I was like, wow, this is really good. And
Thanks, man.
And
There's a strange kazoo sound in there. It almost reminds me of that thing in the vocal track from Running with the Devil.
Yeah.
Every now and then, I don't know what that thing is, but it's so annoying. It works.
But I mean, definitely.
There it is. The song is so annoying that it fucking works.
I have this theory. Like I used to always like whenever a song would get really big. I used to hate these songs that would become super popular, and I have this theory that if I hate it, it's going to be successful. So I think, this song irritates me, so it's probably going to be a hit.
All right, so I do this with a lot of interviews. A lot of people are a little caught off guard with how we do this. But it's a good way to kind of get like the little like weird quirks of getting to know actual band members. So I call these the 5 questions of death because everybody just was like, what would you really call it? And since this is a show called Pipebomb Radio NYC and we are extremely improv, I just decided it as the 5 questions of death. Okay. First question, I'll work my way around. You go to the diner, you order a burger. The choice of fries that you get, curly fries, waffle fries, or regular?
Dude, regular. What the fuck? You guys better say the same shit as me, bro.
Well, I guess I'll be different then. I'm going with waffle fries.
No.
I've never had a waffle fry. What the hell's a
waffle fry?
waffle
Oh my God, you've never had a waffle fry?
They actually have them at McDonald's now.
No, what's a waffle fry? What's the difference?
Okay, so imagine your regular standard breakfast waffle. Well, it's not round like the waffle, but it's the same design as the waffle with all the little squares in it. Yeah.
That's so weird.
Yeah,
how about my curly fries? Do I get them seasoned?
Yes, you can have them seasoned.
I'm doing that.
Okay, second question. You've just arrived to the venue. What is your pre-show setup? Like routine? Like, do you have like the Wade Boggs I eat chicken before every baseball game type routine? Like, what would that be?
We do the Wade Boggs drink, was it 57 beers on an airplane? You ever see that Sunny in Philadelphia episode where they do the Wade Boggs challenge?
Yes.
It's fucking brilliant.
So
I don't know. For me, I really hate those days where you get the sound check at like 1 o'clock or load-ins at like 1 o'clock, but you don't play till like 10, and you're like, oh, what am I going to do for the next bunch of hours? If it's a bar I haven't played at out of town, I like to look around the room and see it's, you know, who's left markings on the walls, see the posters, the stickers, all that stuff. I like these dingy bars that have a lot of history, you know. But yeah, I don't really have an actual ritual, I don't think, other than try and stay awake and sober.
For me, is I lock myself in the dressing room and I'll just, you know, practice guitar right up until the time of the show, pretty much. So I get the fingers all warmed up and no chicken before the show. I don't eat much of anything, really. I kind of stay light on stage. I find you eat anything, you start to sweat it out on stage even more, that we're already sweating to death as it is. So I guess that's one ritual that I don't do. A lot of the guys go out to eat. Usually I just hide in the dressing room and play guitar pretty much. Or the last one show we did, we were there so bloody early, I took a nap in the opening band's dressing room.
What about you, Pete?
Every gig, I make sure there's Wi-Fi so that I can watch Pornhub just before I go out.
That's great. I love that. I love that.
Priorities, bro. Priorities.
Okay, so I won't say that you stroke the bone before you go on stage, right?
I stroke the mic stand.
By the way, just in case you have not ever heard this show before, there is no censoring on this thing, nothing. We are just pure all out there.
Why do you wait to the end to tell us these things?
Just put it this
like
way:
Montreal
a lot of
construction. By the way, you just hit potholes.
Yeah, that's well. I don't know. I haven't seen those signs lately when I've been up to Montreal. But okay. So question number 3: late night go-to snack.
At a gig or
just
or
in general,
time?
anywhere.
Me, it's popcorn. It's always been popcorn since I was a kid. Love it. You know, extra butter, whatever. I'll take it dry. Popcorn and more popcorn. Yeah. I had some last night, actually.
I play gigs almost every night, so my ritual normally is get out of the bar at 3 and look for the next bar that's open. And I get home around 5 or 6 in the morning, and then I got to hunt down whatever who's still making greasy cheeseburgers to get over my hangover the next day. It's amazing that I stayed this skinny, to be honest with you. The crap that I eat. I think it's the Jameson. I have a theory about Jameson. A lot of guys say, "Oh, drinking makes you fat." I'm like, if you drink whiskey and you drink enough of it, you're gonna throw up. And if you don't, it's thinner than beer, right? So yeah. I think that's why I stick to whiskey for the most part. But it's the greasy burgers. I'm a drummer, and I do a lot of guitar gigs, so I'm always lugging gear around. That must be what keeps me like kind of not fat.
Pete, what about you?
Late night snacks?
Yes. Oh, there you go.
I'm keep honest here. Come on, guys.
That'll look great at video. Obviously we can't obviously show that one on the radio, but it's great. I love it.
Tastes great. That's filling.
There you go. A lot of protein.
There you go.
Okay, question number 4. If you were to have a show right now with someone with an artist from the past, who would it be?
Keith Moon. Definitely Keith Moon. That's endless entertainment right there.
I'm not understanding the question. Like a show that we would open for?
Think of an artist, a show that you would want to be on with an artist from the past.
But as individuals
like
or as a band?
Well, think of like bands that aren't currently doing anything right now. Let's say maybe like 90s and back.
Oh boy,
Man.
Zeppelin.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I'd want to be on that bill because you're going to get the stage cleaned with you. But
Yeah.
let's say, let's pick a really shit band to make myself look better. It's a tough one, man. I don't know. Maybe Ramones.
That's
Maybe
actually
the Ramones.
That's actually a great choice.
You know, I've always loved the Ramones.
Yeah.
I saw them once before they.
For me, might sound a bit cliche, but
G.G. Allen.
definitely Elvis.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Definitely the king, man.
See,
Because while he was on stage, you know what I'd be doing?
yes,
Telling all the ladies I'm his manager, you know?
yes.
Yeah.
Well, you definitely
No,
would be a better. I think you would be a better fill-in than the character that Tom Hanks played in the Elvis movie. Because I don't
Have you
think
seen it?
I have seen it. It was on sneak preview. Obviously because I do radio and stuff, I get the stuff ahead of time.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. I don't think it really depicts him very well in some aspects. But
I find the actor doesn't look a hell of a lot like him, but I do like the actor.
the sound in the show is actually in the movie is really good. I was actually very shocked at how they kind of redid it all, but like the depiction for me is not like the perfect thing. Like watching all of the old.
What do you mean? What do you
classic
mean?
games.
Like, because I know a lot about his story. So, like, the story was wrong, or the depiction of it was wrong?
I think a little bit of the depiction was wrong. Like in certain things, like when he played venues or whatever. Like, for example, there's one where he goes into an actual stadium. Like they bring him in the car in the stadium.
Right.
Like I think that was kind of overly aggressively done.
Right.
The way that they presented him coming in the car with the cop car and everything else, because it wasn't anything close to that.
Right.
But when you
Did
see
he ever even play a stadium?
he did play a stadium. He played quite a few. But again, like I think they kind of, in some points, they over exaggerated parts of the actual story.
Yeah, that's same thing with the Freddie Mercury. They take artistic liberties to make the story more
And remember,
interesting, if it's not interesting enough, right?
They're trying also to get that young audience, right? Because we're all old guys, so we know what it was like. But obviously, they try to capture the 20 somethings, you know. So
the new age teeny boppers.
Exactly. So how the hell will they know what happened in 1950, 55, right? So,
but even though I wasn't even born around then, I don't think I was even thought of. Like to know that history from being at that early age, even in like the late 70s, early 80s when I grew up, like to see all of that and then to see the progression of what they have now is kind of the like the afterthought, I would say.
yeah, it's getting whitewashed a bit over the years. You know, the legend's bigger than the legend.
It's kind of like the telephone game.
Right.
That's the way I kind of see it. Okay.
Yeah.
Question 5. I asked about the past. If you were to open or be on a card for a show now, who would you want to be on with?
I would think maybe Paul McCartney or something really over the top, because Paul McCartney was probably my favorite concert ever, and just to say that I shared a stage with something like that'd be pretty nuts, right?
Oh yeah, because I
mean that's like watching, like as John Lennon said, we're bigger than God. I mean, I went to see McCartney and there was a woman saying with a banner saying, "I saw you in '64," and then 10 feet away from her there was like this kid, not even 10 years old. So just the amount of people that this guy's impacted over his life, it's just nuts. It's nuts. Bigger than any other artist as far as I'm concerned. Maybe Elvis, but Elvis is not alive. So like living rock star, man, Paul McCartney.
All right, we do have good comments in our chat from Mr. Dave Canyon, who's a really great friend of mine. He absolutely loves the track, by the way.
Thanks.
Thank you, buddy.
He also did comment, "Why do we even need an Elvis movie? Who doesn't know the story already? It's been told hundreds of times."
Yeah,
right.
True.
There's so many others that they could make movies about.
Well, I think if I were higher in the industry, I would not be sitting there saying, "Okay, we need to have the same Elvis stories or the same Beatles stories, or if like even in like professional wrestling or what they call now sports entertainment. I don't think we need to say the same story about like Andre the Giant 700 times, or like it's
or even Batman. I mean, how many times do we need to hear the story retold? But I think Pete makes a good point though. There's a generation, like we're older and we've been there, we've seen it, but like there's kids that like they think Nirvana is classic rock. Yeah. I'm not even kidding. Like I've been like when I play these pubs, people request old stuff, and it makes me feel really old because this is like my later years of music.
Well, it's kind of crazy because we have the oldies station here in New York, and I'm used to listening to 50s, 60s, and 70s on it. And if I turn on the station now, I hear Metallica or Hootie the Blowfish or even Van Halen. I'm sitting there, I'm like, how did that?
Guns N' Roses.
Or how did that suddenly become oldies? And then you have to really kind of think about it, and you're like, you're in the year 2022. That technically is like 30 years old. We're listening to now their new version of the oldies.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I feel like that when I hear somebody say, "Oh yeah, some classic Pearl Jam." I'm like, oh, really? So what does that make me? You know, a dinosaur?
I think my last girlfriend was only born like when Kurt Cobain died. So, and our age gap was pretty big, So let that sink in,
I remember when Kurt Cobain died. I was in high school.
Pretty wacky. But yeah, Elvis is like, that's folklore to a kid these days, really.
Yeah.
That's crazier than black and white TV to them,
Yeah, I had one of those.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, we lived through all of them, rotary phones and everything.
Yep.
Rotary phones.
Yeah. Right, we're going to throw it back to Lars. Lars, you got any final questions for the gentleman?
I keep losing my internet, but have you...
And we lost him again.
Oh, we lost you, man.
Yeah, the internet is really crazy out in Sweden. So let me see if I can get him to throw me the question here, and then we'll see it. Mark, you have anything for the guys?
I just want to thank you guys for coming on the show. It's been a whole lot of fun talking to you guys and getting to know you guys. And the track was amazing, guys. It really
Are you down in New York?
I'm in Brooklyn, yes.
Bro, we're coming next year, and I expect you to be on the guest list. And we can share a hot dog or a drink, or we're definitely coming down to your part of the world to do some shows. Yeah.
Oh, most definitely. Listen,
definitely. Me and Ricky don't live too far from each other.
We're coming down, bro. We're probably gonna call you guys up, and we'll get our label RFL to reach out, and Sam Bone to reach out, and let's get something happening down there, man.
Well, see, this is the thing that I said this on the last interview we had, and we interviewed a band from Sweden, believe it or not, like where Lars is, and I said to everybody, like, if I had the actual bank account to be sitting there saying, hey, I would travel around. As great as doing a lot of the online interviews are, like I really would love to sit down and bullshit with everybody that we have on the show. Sure. To me, it's more personable. Like you kind of get the real feel of being able to do an interview in person. And again, like I love that fact. I love to be hanging out. Kind of maybe relive like the whole backstage. Oh shit, I'm hanging out with the band deal. Like. To me, that's like the more unique thing out of doing all of these interviews and getting to know the bands. So when you guys come down, definitely I am
absolutely,
man. I'm there, absolutely.
Go to a baseball game or something, man.
Oh, that would be awesome, man.
Lars's question, because we kind of did lose him.
Can't take Ricky to the Yankees. That's no good.
No.
I want to go to Studio 54.
Oh, believe me.
We need a time machine for that.
Yeah.
We could take you to where L'Amour's used to be.
Nice.
L'Amour's used to be really big. Lars's question, because we kind of did lose him. I apologize for that. The internet in Sweden's kind of crazy. He goes, if you guys haven't already, would you play over in Europe?
Okay, good question. Let me answer that. We are coming to Europe. I'm literally the instigator of pretty much everything in the band. Like, I suggest something and they tell me no. I suggest it again. So we have some friends down here that Steve's going to good friends with, and they've been doing Europe a lot. And dude, we're coming to Sweden, bro.
Yeah,
we are coming. We're coming to Europe. We're hoping next year. We're working on it. We're working on a few things, but Europe is definitely top 5 on the cards for places to play.
Sweet.
And it's to my understanding that everywhere in the world, the Swedish chef is the Swedish chef, except for in Sweden, he's the Norwegian chef. Isn't that true?
Yeah.
If so, I want a Norwegian chef T-shirt. They gotta have one, man. They gotta have one.
No, you know what the funny thing is, guys? I am a chef.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's the New York chef. He's not the Swedish chef.
No, I cook here in New York.
He's not
Nice.
he's not the prototypical one that you would see on the Muppets. I can put it to you.
So, dude,
No, Scourgy Burgie, no, I don't do that.
I don't think you heard us, but we're coming to Europe. We're coming to Sweden.
Yeah.
Get
Perfect.
ready.
When?
Get
When?
your people ready.
Get
We're
your
coming.
meatballs ready.
Yes.
That's it, man. We're
Let's
coming.
go. Let's go.
Perfect.
Yeah. So the Dave Canyon knows about the WCBS FM here in New York because he's a New Yorker. He goes, it's a different station than what it used to be. And then he goes, what do you think they would make a movie of next? Would be pretty interesting. Listen, I would love to be on that part. I do very well on the video production and the editing, so, you know.
Do you?
Yes, I do. In fact, I told Sam this, but I didn't tell you guys. There will be an actual video version of this interview. It's going to be released over the weekend. I just have to do a little bit of tweaking on certain things, but you guys will have the video out on YouTube over the weekend. It was an honor and a pleasure to have you guys on. I really cannot wait.
All of you, on behalf of the band and the label, for supporting artists like ourselves and putting the time into it. We appreciate it, man. More power to you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us, man.
I'll be honest with you guys. I don't think a lot of people actually understand what Pipebomb Radio NYC really is. It's not only a show where we come on and joke around, that we play music and we bullshit for 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever. But the whole purpose is that we are an independent radio show. Like, a lot of people don't understand that. And together with the bands, because we have a roster of like 14 bands that send us music regularly. As soon as we get it, it's usually on the air like the next time we are on. And I like, again, like, we have pressure on. Sam has sent us quite a few bands, so we are kind of welcoming you to the Pipebomb Radio family. Don't be a stranger, please, because again, we're all in the kind of like the same fight. Like, I always ask what the next level is, and for us to tag team to get to that next level is the bigger accomplishment than anything else we could ever really do.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
So, guys, please do not be a stranger. If you need to, you can always hit me up on Facebook, or even if you need to call or BS or whatever. Like, I'm usually always around because
thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
The independent bands mean a lot more to me than anything else. Like, it makes me feel so much better at heart.
Cool, man.
Thank God for you guys, man.
Plus, Paul and Gene don't need the cash anymore. So.
No. But I certainly do. You know, I could totally appreciate that part. Again, we have Playhouse on the show. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really tremendously appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, man.
All right.
Horns up.
There you go.
Rock and roll, guys.
All right. We're going to play a track, and then when we come back, we're going to close out the live concert series. We are going to play some Cheap Trick.
Oh,
when we
yeah.
come back, we'll close out the show. Pipebomb Radio NYC, your home for music and entertainment, every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Spreaker.com.